Hey everybody, welcome to the next video. So today we're just doing some online shopping. Let's look here. Oof. Okay, probably not in the market for that one quite right now. Let's look over a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's check and see. Maybe in a little while we'll see if we can fit that one in. And what? Ooh, what's this?
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
So I bought a Magicx 040. Now this thing, of course, when you just look at it, it's weird. It's kind of like the Quasimodo of retro handhelds. So when you look at this thing, you have to ask the question that everyone goes, why? The short answer is vertical games, mostly like arcade games, so like shooters, things like that, and Nintendo DS. Now, are those the only two things this thing can do? No. It can do a lot more. It can play other systems. It's powerful enough to do, you know, the usual stuff. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It can go pretty much all the way up to Dreamcast and Nintendo 64. It can't play the whole library, but it can play most of the stuff. But the way that this thing is set up, if you look at it, obviously it's in a vertical format. And so it's really only conducive to those types of games. So it can play everything else, but they are going to come with a lot of adjustment that you're going to have to do. I'll show it later in the video. You'll see it. But first, when we take a look at this thing, it has a vertical screen that's about 4 inches across, and then, well, it's 4 inches tall. It's got about 2 inches, across the top and bottom, and the resolution is about 480 to 800. So everything is going to look pretty decent on here, even with all the scaling. The chip on the inside is the all-winner Cortex A53, which, I mean, really for people like me who don't really pay a lot of attention to that, it just means it can play up to like PlayStation, Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and it can play like Nintendo DS well. And it'll struggle with the higher end stuff, but it can still play it, pretty decently, so it's not too bad. Now this thing also comes with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it's not the strongest of either one, but it does the job for what it does. And then it has it's a touchscreen. Like it's basically they took a very small like Android phone or like a tiny tablet, and they just kind of shoved two like not Wii, but Switch controllers, and then just kind of soldered it down and removed one of the analog sticks from the right controller. That's the best idea I can give you for this one. It ends up working pretty well, all said. Now, on top of that, there's also like multi-touch, so you can use 2 fingers at once to do 2 separate things, so that's pretty nice. The joystick that it does have, it is a Hall effect, and it's calibrated pretty well, so I mean, like, it works. And the way that they have the buttons situated on here with the D-pad up top and the joystick on the bottom, it really works towards this thing's like overall idea. And then last thing I'll talk about is last 2 things. The battery is about 4,300 milliamps, so you're looking at like, I would say a solid 5 hours, a decent 6, and then like if you're only playing the lightest of the lightest stuff, you can get up to 7, maybe 8. Just depends on, how you tweak all your settings and all that other good stuff. And then lastly, it comes with 2 speakers on front-facing speakers, so you get kind of stereo. The speakers aren't like, dynamic by any means, but they do the job well, and they can get pretty loud while you're playing games. When you're first unboxing this thing or looking at it, of course, your mind just says, well, what can it play? And then the answer is very quick. It comes with Nintendo DS and vertical arcade games. Now, most of the time, whenever you buy this from certain stores, you can get, the preloaded games on it. And if you buy this directly from, I guess, either Ampone is how you say it, maybe? Ampone?
Catacombs? Lacoons, you said?
Whichever way you want to say it. But when you buy this, you can buy it to come with preloaded games. And one of the nice things that I've seen around is that people are saying that it's already curated. So like whenever you buy it with games on it, it's mostly just coming with Nintendo DS and arcade vertical games. And most of the arcade vertical games you're going to play are going to be shooters and shoot 'em ups. And I'll just say this right off the bat. This thing is pretty much an arcade shooter dream. Like, this is what I wanted to do with my phone, but like they don't sell controllers that just sit on the side of your phone. It needs to hook into the C adapter, or like it has to hold on. This thing solves that whole problem with its design. And then same thing for Nintendo DS. Thanks to like the core, the chip core and all this other stuff, it plays Nintendo DS well, like really well. I rarely see any problems with anything that I'm playing whenever I play with this thing. It's pretty much going to, if you have an old DS or a DSi and it's, seen better days and you don't want to go through all the rigmarole of either fixing or modding or doing whatever, this can replace that. Now, is it perfect? God, no. There's a lot of like give and take whenever it comes to this thing, but does it do the job? Definitely yes. I've enjoyed really playing on the Nintendo DS games, and then having this thing being fully functional since it's running on Android, albeit an old version of Android 10. It's still functional, and the whole thing is a touchscreen, and you can literally make it work. Now, whenever you first boot this thing up, you're going to run into the OS, which, like I said, it's a tweaked version of Android 10, so it doesn't have all the new stuff. Like, you don't have access to the Play Store or anything like that, but you do get Magicx, their special OS, which is called Dawn Launcher. And the system already comes preloaded with all the emulators that you need. Unless you want very specific emulators, then you can have them, but you're going to have to sideload all that content because you can't access the Play Store. And that requires you having to hook up to your computer and moving everything around. So if you want to sideload that type of stuff, you can, but it's not necessary. This thing is basically ready to go out the box. And then especially if you bought, the already loaded game card, you almost don't have to do much unless there's a very specific game that's not on the card that you really need to play. Now, when you get into it, all the systems, if you've ever messed with an Android, it pretty much is set up the same way. You can go in and change your systems, adjust everything. But Dawn Launcher, I think everyone says, because I'm not familiar with this, but Daiji Show, I'm not familiar with that particular like front end at all. But they say that Dawn Launcher is kind of an offshoot of it. And for me, it works just fine. Like, everything comes out pretty well. You can scrape all your box art and everything. It doesn't have the same features as Newly to where you can get like videos. But as long as you put everything in the right folder, the whole like UI is clean. And it's easy to get to the things that you want to get to whenever you're opening up everything. Now, for the buttons, I will say this is probably the quietest system that I've heard so far. Like, you can jam down on these things and they will not make a sound. It's actually kind of eerie how well they've done the buttons. The D-pad, I will say I do have a little bit of grievance with it because it's laid in so far. I end up getting false diagonals pretty often. Now, it could be that I'm just kind of like fat rolling it with my finger, but I don't know. The D-pad, it's good, but it just doesn't, like, there's some small things, and I end up messing up some things in some games, so it's kind of odd. The analog stick, on the other hand, great. I think it's really good, and the fact that they're able to sync it so far into the system so that this thing, even though it is way out of proportion with how it looks, it can be very portable, and you can put it in your pocket as long as you got a big enough pocket. And that being said, the shape of this thing, yes, it's extremely weird, but it makes sense once it gets into your hands. Like your hands, at least for me, because I wouldn't say big hands, but I've got adult man hands. Whenever this thing sits in my hands, it just feels right. Like the only gripe that I have whenever, at least for any of the real design, is that when you want to use the triggers, like the shoulder buttons and the triggers, they're inlaid pretty well into the makeup of the system, especially like L2, R2. Those things are so small and they're on the back end. I kind of miss them sometimes, so it could be a little difficult. But after a while, I just got used to it, so it's really not that big of a deal. Now, for as to like how the games play, really, it's good. The main gripe is if you're trying for like a 1-for-1 DS, you're just not going to get it here.
Ooh, he's trying!
The screen is nowhere near the same as what was on the DS or the DSi. It's really small. Now, 4 inches is a decent length for like, the vertical part of it. But the problem is that the width of it is really like compact. So usual like action heavy games, things like that, it's not that big of an issue on your Nintendo DS games for that matter. Like everything shows up pretty well. It's pretty readable. It's not like, too offbeat or anything like that. It works just fine. RPGs, on the other hand, though, maybe it's because I'm starting to get old man eyes or things like that, but sometimes reading the text is a little difficult. Because the screen is so small, everything kind of gets squished into it, and then you have that problem. Now, the other thing is whenever you do play like Nintendo DS or whenever you do play arcade or whatever, for Nintendo DS, they'll split the screens. Like, it'll have this little bar in the middle to give you like top screen, bottom screen, so it helps keep the feel of like Nintendo DS. Me, on the other hand, I always enjoyed the fact of having just one solid brick of a screen. So I would adjust the screens that you could probably see it in the footage that I have right here. I will adjust the screen so that it ends up just being one solid image. So it stretches it ever so slightly, but it doesn't bother me enough to really like do anything else because the screens have to squeeze in at least width-wise on this particular setup. It's really not that bad, and it's kind of like it's not a difficult thing to get used to. And by doing that, I also made it easier to read some of the text. So it did help me out because I love to play RPGs on here. Things like, the Mario and Luigi, Brothers in Time, things like that. So that's definitely my recommendation. In terms of arcade, though, like, it's hard to do better than this, man. Like, everything just fits. Every single shooter just works well. And you could, like, this is literally the portable arcade shoot 'em up of any shoot 'em up connoisseur's dream. I love this thing for shoot 'em ups. And then plus, since you're playing on arcade, you get infinite credits and continues. So you could just keep going and playing them. Like, I've also dug into some shooters that I never got to play when I was younger, and I've just fallen in love with them. Notably, like Dimahu from Capcom. Love it. Same thing with Gigawing. Batsugun is another one that I've gotten into. Just so many classics that you can run on this thing, and they work pretty well. Now, in terms of DS, like I said before, it runs everything pretty well. Arcade, though, it's either because I have some ROMs that aren't exactly the best, or this thing just can't run some of the stuff that requires a lot. Biggest example is probably like Dodonpachi. So you have like Donpachi 1, 2, and 3, and then you have Dodonpachi, which is like, the second best. Donpachi 1, 2, and 3, this thing runs them pretty well. I don't really have to worry about them, but like Dodonpachi is where things get kind of rough. And there's some other systems, some other games that have the same problem in arcade. Sometimes they just require a lot, and this thing, it seems to struggle with them just a little bit. Now, once again, that could be my ROMs. I do need to like download some other ones and see if it's just I don't have good ROMs for it. But I do run into that issue in terms of arcade games. There's like lots of slowdown and the audio will click in and out. So it's not the best. Now, after saying all of this, I also need to say, if you bought this as like your main portable retro console and you're trying to play anything other than Vertical Arcade or Nintendo DS, you're going to be in for a bad time. Mainly because if you're trying to play it in its natural holding stance, which is just like straight up and down, it is going to shrink everything into the tiniest square at either the top or, in terms of PSP, dead in the middle. Now, you can force everything to go full screen, but like, I don't know. That's like some psychopathic stuff right there, dude. Like, having to stretch a game that far and then try to play it normally, oof, I don't know how to do that. So, of course, your other option is to turn the games on their side. But, I mean, look at this thing. It's such a whacked out Frisbee, Quasimodo, like, hodgepodge of things. The only way you could naturally play anything else by turning it on the side is to turn it to the right, and then you need to go into RetroArch and you need to remap the stick with your left hand to, like, to be sideways instead of standing straight up, and then remap all the buttons to be the correct way, and then play it like that, and you end up with this ridiculous, like, tiger's claw whatever move that you have. Like, it's uncomfortable to play anything this way. But in all truth, if you want to play it like PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, hell, Dreamcast, Nintendo, you want to play those games, this is kind of like your main option. And then, of course, that also messes with your shoulders and your L2, R2, because now they're only on that one side away from your fingers. So this is like the most jank way to be able to play this stuff. And really, this machine, even though it can play those other systems flawlessly, it's just not built for it. You're really hitting at 100% if you're just playing DS and arcade games. Really, you can't. You're not going to get a fun experience any other way unless you're forcing yourself to enjoy it, or you're just completely insane. And I forgot to mention this earlier. This thing is, as I said, like a Frisbee. It's completely flat. But because of the weird way that the controllers and the main screen sit, it doesn't bother me at all. It's actually still really comfortable. So, like I said, for that, not that bad. It's actually pretty good. So let's just do quick pros and cons, things that are good, things that are not good, and why maybe you want to pick it up or why you might want to stay away. So let's do cons first. So the cons are, it's a really weird shape. Some people aren't going to like it, and it's kind of hard to be pocketable whenever you're taking up such a weird shape. Unless you have big pockets, this thing ain't going to work. Also, the screen, even though it's a tall screen, it isn't very wide, and a lot of the stuff that you do play does get squished down significantly. And that being said, the resolution is not like a 1-for-1 whenever it comes to DS. It'll work for arcade in general because it's just taking that image and just, it's still in the vertical format, so it doesn't get hurt. Arcade games look great. Nintendo DS, there is a little bit, like there's a little give and take. The D-pad is not the best. I even on the RG34XX that I have, that D-pad is still better in my opinion than this one. It still works, but false diagonals, things like that. The other thing is that, like, it's hard to recommend it whenever you're wanting a system that can do more. So if you're just really hard up for those two systems, you're doing fine. Everything else is it's a crapshoot, and you're gonna have to hold this thing in such a weird way and make so many, like, it's not the greatest experience for anything other than those main systems.
Hey everybody, future SirSka here. Just wanted to add another con. This thing sucks in sleep mode. The battery will continue to drain at a steady pace, and you'll find it dead by the end of the day. It's best to turn it completely off, unless you're sure you're going to pick it up again soon. Also, the screen isn't as bright as other devices, so this won't do well outside or in direct sunlight. Just a little something I forgot to mention. Kay, Bye.
Now for the pros, if you do really want those two main systems like I did, this thing is a godsend. Especially if you were looking at like some other stuff, like I really wanted to get an RGDS, but the price range is just kind of out of what I want to do right now. And this thing fits beautifully. Not only just because of, that it can run everything, but the price for it, you can't do much better than like $70 to $80 plus. And then you can get this machine that can run all that stuff. Perfect? No. Doable? Oh God, yeah. It's really doable, especially for that price range. Then not only that, it's Android. Android is very user-friendly, at least in my experience. So you have that. And then the other thing is, it's kind of cool. Like the fact that you can have your arcade games run as well as they do, and then it's just a portable, on-the-go thing. You can pick it up. I love this thing for bedtime, mainly because it's so quiet. Like, I don't have to worry about waking up my family while I'm playing. I can just play the whole time, turn the brightness down, boom, work from there. It's just fine. So, if you've watched any other videos about this thing, yeah, I'm pretty much saying the same thing everyone else is. This is a nice machine. It's priced pretty well. It's a touchscreen, full Android makeup, which is great, but there are lots of concessions that were made to make this thing work as well as it does, and you're pretty much canceling out, I'd say, every other system that aren't arcade vertical games or Nintendo DS. Personally, I love this thing. I think it's great. Like, I've been playing it just as much as my RG34XS. I hate saying that name. That name's so stupid. And this name too. Can we please get normal names for these things? Like, if Ambernick can make the RGDS, that makes 100 times more sense than Magicx 04. Like, why? What is the point in naming your stuff like this? I don't really get it. But with that, that's the end of this video. Hopefully this helps somebody out if you're just looking for an interesting retro console, or if you want something fun, that's fine too. It can't hook up. It doesn't have a lot of the other stuff that you would get in, like, the Ambernics, which is like the HDMIs and things like that. But it's still solid if you just want a nice handheld portable arcade / Nintendo DS game player. All right. So with that, that's the end of this video. Thanks for stopping by. Please, like, subscribe, get in those comments. Let me know. Do you think this thing is interesting? Like, do you have one? Do you enjoy it as much as I did? Or do you think this is just one of the weirdest things and you don't know why someone made this at all? Like, because it's not going to make anyone 100% happy, but like, it does fill a niche. And it's the only thing out there that kind of looks and does what it does. This thing literally has no competition, at least for now, in terms of like vertical consoles. So, all right, with that, I'll see you guys later.